The docking bay of Station Harmony was busy and full of noise. Traders from many different worlds were selling and buying things. Some were talking loudly about prices. Others were checking papers to make sure the deals were correct. The big bay had ships from 17 different planets. It was supposed to be a safe place where all species could trade fairly. Emma Hayes was 6 years old. She sat in the corner of the Human Commerce office, playing with colored stone puzzles. Her father, Colonel Frank Hayes, was at a table with other traders. He kept looking at Emma between his talks. His wife was sick at home, so he had to bring Emma with him. Emma was good and quiet, so Frank thought it was okay to bring her to the station. Station Harmony was not very big. It was built as neutral ground so that small human colonies could trade with bigger and more powerful alien species. Frank knew this was important for his colony. They needed food and tools that they could not make themselves. The trades they made here would help their people survive. Emma played with her puzzles and did not bother anyone. She was a good child. She understood that her father was working. She had learned this from her mother before they came to the station. Good children stay quiet when adults are talking about important things. Commander Vex of the Zix Collective came into the bay with 3 of his helpers. The Zix were tall beings. Their skin looked like clear crystals that caught light and made rainbow colors. They were very proud of themselves. Other traders told stories about how mean Vex was to anyone he thought was weak. He did not like small species. He did not like humans, especially because humans were new to the galactic community. The Zix wanted to buy human grain and water. But Vex wanted to pay very little money for very much grain. Frank Hayes said no to this. Frank said the price was not fair. He said humans had worked hard to grow the grain, and it cost money to send it across space. Vex did not want to hear this. He was used to getting what he wanted because his species was powerful and his allies were strong. The 2 men began to talk louder. Other traders stopped what they were doing and watched. Frank stood up from his chair. Vex also stood up. The air between them felt tight and angry. Vex made a big move with his arm. He was showing that he was in charge. He was showing that he did not care what Frank thought. Emma got tired of sitting alone. She wanted water. Her mouth was dry from the air in the docking bay. She stood up from where she was sitting. She was a small girl in a blue dress. Nobody was watching her now, because everyone was looking at the 2 men who were fighting with their words. She walked toward her father. She wanted to ask him for water. She did not understand that something bad was about to happen. Vex turned very fast to make another big move with his arm. This was supposed to show his power. This was supposed to make Frank feel afraid. But Emma was in the way. Emma was too small for anyone to see. She was just walking across the metal floor of the bay. Vex's arm hit Emma hard across her face and her body. Emma flew through the air like a small toy. She crashed onto the hard metal floor. The sound was loud and bad. For 1 second, nobody made any noise. Everyone was shocked and could not believe what they saw. Emma did not cry at first. She just lay on the floor and tried to understand what happened to her. Then she screamed. It was a small scream from a small child. But it made everyone in the bay feel cold inside. It made every human trader feel angry and sad and scared all at the same time. Frank ran to his daughter in 3 big steps. He found Emma bleeding from a cut above her eye. Her arm was bent in a way that arms should not bend. He could see that she was in a lot of pain. He picked her up very carefully and held her close to his chest. Other humans ran over to help. One called for the medical team right away. Another person ran to get water and cloth. Everyone was moving fast and trying to help. Commander Vex looked down at Emma. He did not look sad. He did not look sorry. He looked like he was looking at a broken piece of glass on the floor. He looked like he did not care. The small one was in the way, Vex said to his helpers. He said it like he was explaining something simple and not important. Humans are weak. Their bodies break too easy. This is not my fault. Frank heard these words. He was holding his daughter while she cried and cried. He heard Vex say that Emma was not important. He heard Vex say that it was not his fault. Frank's face turned red with anger, but he had to stay calm because Emma needed him. The medical team came very fast. They took Emma away from her father and put her on a bed with wheels. The bed moved fast through the hallway of the station. Frank ran behind it, holding Emma's good hand. The doctors looked at Emma for a long time. They did tests and asked questions. One doctor found blood inside Emma's body where it should not be. Another doctor said her arm was broken in 2 places. They gave her medicine to help her feel better. They put her arm in a cast. They told Frank that she would get better, but she would remember this day for the rest of her life. Frank sat next to Emma's bed in the medical bay. Emma was sleeping now because of the medicine. Frank looked at his daughter's small face. He looked at the bruises and the cut. He looked at the cast on her arm. He made a promise to himself and to Emma. Someone was going to pay for what they did to his daughter. Someone was going to answer for this pain. The human colony leaders met and made a complaint. They wrote down everything that happened. They said Vex hit Emma on purpose. They said he did not care that she was a child. They said the Zix had to punish Vex and make him pay for what he did. 2 days later, the Zix Collective sent a message back. They said Emma's injury was not Vex's fault. They said humans were too weak and fragile. They said even a small touch could hurt humans because their bodies were not strong. They said Vex was not a bad person. They said what happened was just an accident. The Zix gave Vex a small punishment. It meant nothing. It did not help Emma. It did not make Frank feel better. Emma lay in the medical bed with bruises on her face and an arm that could not move. She was only 6 years old. She did not understand why a person would hurt her when she did nothing wrong. She did not understand why no one was punishing the person who hurt her. She did not understand many things about the galaxy anymore. Frank held her hand and said nothing. He was thinking about justice. He was thinking about what humans had to do to get the galaxy to listen to them. He was thinking about what it meant to be a Deathworlder from Earth. The news spread fast through all the human colonies. Within 1 day, everyone knew that a child named Emma had been hurt by a Zix officer. Everyone knew that the Zix had given him only a small punishment. Everyone was angry. Captain David Chun received the report in his room on the colonial vessel called Endeavor. He read the papers 3 times. Each time, the words said the same thing. An alien officer had hit a human child. The Galactic Council had said this was not a crime. The Galactic Council had said it was an accident. David Chun was old. He had spent 40 years in the Human Defense Force. When he was young, he grew up on Earth. Earth was a hard place to live. The weather could kill you. Dangerous animals hunted humans. The plants could poison you. Humans learned very early that they had to be strong or they would die. David had learned this as a child. He had survived because he was smart and tough. But there were rules. Even on Earth, there were laws that everyone had to follow. The most important law was that you protected children. Every human knew this. Every human understood that children were the future of the species. If you hurt a child, you were breaking the most sacred law of all. David sat at his desk and thought about Emma Hayes. He thought about her being so small and so scared. He thought about her arm being broken. He thought about the pain she felt. He thought about how nobody had punished the person who hurt her. He wrote a short message to 3 people. He asked them to come to his office as fast as they could. Within 2 hours, they were all sitting in his room. Captain Lisa Murphy was a tactical expert. She had talked to 17 different alien species. She knew how the Galactic Council worked. She knew how aliens thought about money and power and alliances. Commander James Powell studied how alien armies fought. He knew their weapons. He knew their strategy. He knew how they won their wars and how they lost them. Dr. Henry Grant was a person who could talk to anyone. He had helped solve many hard problems between humans and aliens. People liked him. People listened to him. "The Council will not do anything," Lisa said. She had already read all the documents about Emma. "No," David said. "They already decided that we are not important enough to care about. So, what can we do?" James asked. "We have no power. We have no allies in the Council. We present our case ourselves," David said. "We go to the Galactic Council and we make them listen. We make them understand that this was wrong." "They will say no again," Henry said. He was being honest. He did not want to give false hope. "Maybe," David said. "But we have to try. We have to show them that humanity will not accept injustice against our children." They spent the next 7 days getting ready. Lisa collected medical papers about Emma's injuries. She got video from the docking bay that showed what happened. She made documents about Emma's pain and her fear. James read every rule and law of the Galactic Council. He found the hidden rules that said humans could make the Council listen to them. He found the way to force a hearing. Henry wrote down the case they would tell the Council. He explained why Emma was hurt. He explained why this was a crime. He explained why the Galactic Council had to punish Commander Vex, Colonel Frank. Hayes told them about how Emma looked in the hospital. He told them about her nightmares. He told them about how she cried when she heard loud noises. He told them how his daughter was not the same happy child anymore. Emma herself agreed to come and tell her story. She was very scared. She did not want to talk about what happened. But she understood that it was important. She understood that if she did not tell people what happened, nobody would believe her. The medical doctors gave David papers that showed exactly what was wrong with Emma. They wrote about the internal bleeding. They wrote about the broken arm in 2 places. They wrote that Emma would have pain for a long time, by the end of the week. David had everything he needed. He had proof that Emma was hurt. He had proof that it was Commander Vex who hurt her. He had proof that the Zix had not given Vex a real punishment. He had proof that the Galactic Council had not cared about Emma's pain. The human delegation got on a big transport ship. The ship would take them to the Galactic Council station. The journey would take 3 weeks. During these 3 weeks, David thought about what would happen. He thought about walking into the great chamber where all the aliens sat. He thought about telling them about a 6-year-old girl and a broken arm. He thought about whether they would listen. Lisa spent the time making her documents better. She wanted every picture to be very clear. She wanted every number to be correct. She wanted the Council to see the truth. James read more laws. He looked for anything that would help them. He looked for anything that would make the Council have to listen. Henry practiced his words. He said them again and again. He wanted to find the exact words that would make aliens understand what humans felt. He wanted to find words that would make aliens care about a small child. Emma sat in her chair and watched the stars move past the ship. She was going to talk to the most powerful people in the galaxy. She was going to tell them that Commander Vex had hurt her. She was very scared, but she also felt something else. She felt like someone was fighting for her. She felt like her species cared about what happened to her. Frank stayed with Emma. He held her hand. He told her that she was being very brave. He told her that what she had to do was important. He told her that the whole human race was proud of her as the ship moved through space. David looked out at the stars and thought about his own children. They were grown now, but he remembered when they were small. He remembered how much he would have done to protect them. He remembered that there was nothing more important than keeping children safe. The Galactic Council had said that Emma did not matter. The Galactic Council had said that a human child was too weak to care about. But David was going to make them understand that they were wrong. He was going to make them understand that every human child mattered. He was going to make them understand that humanity would fight for its young. The ship moved forward through the darkness of space. Justice was coming. It was slow, but it was coming. David Chun sat at a desk in front of a camera. The camera was simple. There were no soldiers behind him. There were no weapons in the background. There was just David sitting alone in a plain room. This was important. He wanted the galaxy to understand that this was not about power. This was about truth. The broadcast went out on every galactic news network. It went to thousands of worlds. It went to hundreds of millions of beings. Everyone who wanted to listen could hear what David had to say. David took a deep breath. He began to speak. My name is Captain David Chun. I represent the human colonies of the Outer Rim. I am speaking to tell all thinking beings in the galaxy something very important. Something that defines what it means to be human. He paused. He let the words settle into the minds of listening aliens. 7 days ago, a human child named Emma Hayes was hit by an alien officer named Commander Vex of the Zix Collective. Emma was 6 years old. Emma was not fighting. Emma was not dangerous. Emma was just a small girl walking across a docking bay. David's face was calm, but his eyes were fierce. Commander Vex struck Emma because he thought she was not important. He thought she was too weak to matter. He thought he could hurt a human child with no real consequences. David leaned forward slightly. When we brought this matter to the Galactic Council, they told us that Emma was too fragile to care about. They said that hitting a human child was an accident. They said that humanity was too weak to demand justice. They voted to clear Commander Vex of all charges. His voice was steady and hard. Today, I am telling the galaxy something different. I am telling every species listening that humanity will travel across the stars themselves to protect our children. We will cross galaxies. We will face any power. We will do whatever is necessary to make sure that those who hurt innocent children face justice. The camera showed only David's face now. His eyes were very serious. This is not a threat. This is a promise. Humanity comes from a death world called Earth. Our world is harsh. Our world is dangerous. The weather can kill you. The animals hunt you. The plants can poison you. We survived this world because we are tough. We survived because we were willing to do what was necessary. David sat back in his chair. But we also have laws. We have one law that is stronger than any other law. We protect our children, always, no matter what, no matter how powerful the enemy is, no matter how many allies they have, no matter what it cost us. He stood up and walked closer to the camera. Commander Vex made a serious mistake. He thought that Emma was insignificant. He thought that humans would accept injustice. He thought that because the Galactic Council protected him, he was safe. David's voice was low and dangerous. He is wrong. We are coming for him. We will find him. We will take him. And we will bring him before neutral judges. He will have to answer for what he did to a child who could not defend herself. David walked back to the desk and sat down. To every species listening to this message, I want you to understand something. Humanity is not a species of conquerors. We are not trying to rule the galaxy. We are not trying to take over other worlds. We are not interested in power. He looked directly at the camera. But we are Deathworlders. We are survivors. And we have a code. That code says that you do not harm the innocent. That code says that you especially do not harm children. That code says that if you break this rule, you will face consequences. You will face us. David's face was hard like stone. Every species in the galaxy should understand this. If you harm a human child, you are making a choice. You are choosing to face the full power of humanity. You are choosing to face beings who have nothing left to lose except the safety of our young. You are choosing war with an enemy that will never stop. You are choosing to learn what it means to face a Deathworlder who is angry about an injured child. He paused. We are not cruel. We are not killers by choice. But we are not weak. And we will deliver justice. The broadcast ended. Within minutes, the message was spreading across every news network in the galaxy. Alien species discussed it with shock. Some thought it was very brave. Some thought it was very foolish. All of them took it seriously. The Zix Collective tried to make the message seem like a joke. They said that humans were not powerful enough to threaten anyone. They said that David Chun was just an angry man saying angry words. But the Zix leadership was worried. They knew that David was serious. They knew that humans would try to find Commander Vex. The Arendal, who were the oldest and wisest species, said something different. They said that humanity might be more dangerous than any military power in the galaxy. They said that this was because of principle. They said that beings who would die for an idea were more dangerous than beings who would die for money or power. On the human colony worlds, people heard the message. They heard David say that the galaxy would understand. They heard David say that justice was coming. They felt pride in their species for the first time. Emma Hayes heard the message in her hospital room. Her father played it for her on a screen. Emma watched Captain David Chun say her name to the entire galaxy. She watched him tell the Zix that they had made a terrible mistake. Emma cried, but these were different tears. These were not tears of fear. These were tears of hope. Someone was fighting for her. Her entire species was fighting for her. Emma was not alone anymore. Frank held his daughter and felt the same thing. He felt like his species had finally understood that what happened to Emma mattered. He felt like humans had finally decided to show the galaxy what they were really made of. The search for Commander Vex began immediately. James Powell and his team started looking everywhere. They checked space stations. They checked ships. They checked every place where a Zix officer might hide. The hunt was on, and every species in the galaxy was watching. They were watching to see if humans would do what they said they would do. They were watching to see if a Deathworlder species would actually follow through on their promise. The message from David Chun had changed everything. The Galactic Council had voted that Emma's pain did not matter. But David had just told the entire galaxy that it did. David had just told the entire galaxy that humanity would make them understand it. Alien governments began to worry. They began to ask themselves if they had made the wrong choice by supporting the Council's decision. They began to wonder what would happen if humans came for them next. And David was already planning the next step. He was already thinking about how to find Commander Vex. He was already thinking about how to bring him to justice. He was already thinking about how to make the galaxy understand that you do not harm human children. The Deathworlders had spoken. Now they would act. The Galactic Council chamber was the biggest room that David had ever seen. The walls went up so high that they disappeared. The building was made of materials that David did not understand. The colors were strange. The shapes were strange. It was designed to make visitors feel small and powerless. Council members from 43 different alien species sat in a huge half circle. There were tall beings and short beings. There were beings made of crystal. There were beings made of metal. There were beings of pure energy. All of them were more powerful than humans. All of them had ruled their planets for thousands of years. The Zix sat in the biggest section of the council. Their crystal skin caught the light and threw it around the room. They looked powerful and beautiful. Next to them sat their allies. These were species that traded with the Zix. These were species that worked with the Zix for power and money. David and his team stood in the middle of the floor. They looked very small. They were very small compared to this council. They were very small compared to the power in this room. The council looked down at them like they were insects. The council speaker was very old. His name was unpronounceable to human ears. He was from a species called the Arendelle. He had seen many civilizations rise and fall. He had made many decisions. Some said he was fair. Others said he did not care about small species like humans. The speaker told David that he could present his case. This was the moment that David had prepared for. This was the moment that everything depended on. Lisa Murphy walked to the center of the chamber. She carried papers and a device that showed pictures. She began to speak. Her voice was calm and clear. She did not shake. Commander Vex of the Zix had a human child named Emma Hayes. Emma was 6 years old. Emma was not fighting. Emma was not threatening anyone. Emma was just walking across the docking bay of Station Harmony. Lisa showed pictures of Emma before she was hurt. Emma was smiling. Emma was happy. Emma was a normal child. This is what Emma looked like 1 hour after the assault, Lisa said. She showed another picture. The chamber went quiet. Even the aliens who did not like humans could see the bruises on Emma's face. They could see the blood. They could see the pain in the child's eyes. Lisa continued. She showed medical records. She showed that Emma had broken bones. She showed that Emma was bleeding inside her body. She showed that Emma needed to stay in the hospital for 2 weeks. The damage was caused by one impact from Commander Vex, Lisa said. This was not an accident. This was not something that just happened. This was an assault. She showed the video from the docking bay. Everyone watched as Commander Vex turned fast and hit Emma. Everyone saw Emma fly through the air. Everyone heard the sound of Emma hitting the floor. The chamber was silent. No one spoke. Then Henry Grant walked forward. He was a human from Earth. He had lived in many places. He understood many species. He spoke their languages. He knew their ways. In all human culture, we have one law that is stronger than all other laws, Henry said. We protect children. We protect them because they are the future. We protect them because they cannot protect themselves. We protect them because they are innocent. He paused. He looked at every council member. This is not just a human law. Every species here has something like this. Every species protects its young. Every species understands that children are sacred. Henry spoke for 30 minutes. He talked about how Emma was scared. He talked about how Emma had nightmares now. He talked about how Emma was afraid to leave her home. Justice is not about power, Henry said. Justice is about right and wrong. Emma was wrong to be hurt. Commander Vex was wrong to hurt her. The Zix Collective was wrong to protect him. The answer is simple. Emma deserves justice. Then Colonel Frank Hayes came to the center of the chamber. He was Emma's father. He was a soldier. He was a strong man. But he had tears in his eyes. I am Emma's father, he said. His voice shook a little. I brought my daughter to Station Harmony because I thought she was safe. I thought that all species followed the same rules about protecting children. He stopped and took a breath. I was wrong. I learned that the Galactic Council does not care about human children. I learned that Commander Vex can hurt my daughter and face no real punishment. This is not justice. This is not right. Finally, Emma walked to the center of the chamber. She was very small. The chamber was very big. She looked so young and so scared. She told the council what happened. She told them about the pain. She told them about being scared. She told them about having bad dreams. She told them in a quiet voice that made everyone listen very carefully. When Emma finished, there was noise in the chamber. Some council members were talking. Some were arguing. The Zix contingent was laughing. They laughed like Emma's pain was a joke. Then Commander Vex himself stood up. "I rise to respond to these false accusations," Vex said. His voice was loud and strong. "Humans are the weakest species in the galaxy. Their young are even more weak. When I was conducting business negotiations, this small human child placed itself in my path. My movement was normal and necessary. If the child was hurt, it is because humans are fragile and broken." He looked at the council members who were his allies. "The humans want to punish me for being strong," Vex said. "They want to punish me for having power. This is not justice. This is envy." Several council members from alien species nodded. Some even made sounds that might have been agreement. "Humans are new to the galactic community," Vex continued. "They do not understand how things work. They bring their weak emotions and expect us to treat their problems like they matter. This is foolish. This is like asking an adult to cry because a child has a small scratch." The Zix allies laughed again. The Speaker of the Council stood up. He made a motion with his arm. "It is time for the Council to vote," the Speaker said. "The question is simple. Did Commander Vex commit a crime against Emma Hayes?" The voting began. One by one, the council members said yes or no. Some said yes, but most said no. 30-4 said no. 7 said yes. 2 said nothing. "The petition is denied," the Speaker said. His voice was not sad or happy. It was just empty. "The Council finds no evidence of criminal conduct. Commander Vex is cleared of all charges. This matter is closed." The Zix section of the Council erupted in celebration. They made loud sounds. They moved their crystal arms around. They were celebrating that they had won. David and his team walked out of the chamber in silence. They had done everything right. They had followed all the rules. They had presented clear evidence. They had used the correct procedures. And it had not mattered. Lisa's face was red with anger. "The Council is corrupt," she said. "They only care about power and money." "We were fools," James said. "We thought they would care about justice." But David did not say anything. He was thinking about something. He was thinking about a way to make the galaxy listen. He was thinking about what humans could do when the system would not help them. When they were back in their room, David called everyone together. His eyes were hard and cold. "The Council is chosen," David said. "They have said that Emma's pain does not matter. They have said that humanity is too weak to care about. They have shown us that their justice system does not work for us." He paused and looked at each person. "So we will not use their system anymore. We will deliver our own justice. And the galaxy will understand that you do not hurt our children." Finding Commander Vex took 3 weeks. James Powell and his team worked day and night. They followed his trail across space. They tracked his money. They found people who had seen him. They knew where he was hiding. Commander Vex was on a private station that orbited a large gas giant. The station was small. It had only a few workers. The Zix Collective had hidden Vex there, thinking that humans would never find him. They thought that humans did not have the skill or the power to locate an alien officer across the vast emptiness of space. They were wrong. A human team of 12 soldiers landed on the station. They were trained and ready. They had studied the station's layout. They knew exactly where Vex was. They knew his routine. They knew how many guards protected him. They were ready to do what needed to be done. The soldiers moved through the station without making noise. They were like ghosts. The Zix guards never saw them coming. When the humans reached Vex's quarters, they found him alone. Commander Vex was sitting at a table, eating food. He was not worried. He was not afraid. He thought his position protected him. He thought his eyes would save him. He thought no human could touch him. He was very wrong. The soldiers moved fast. They had weapons, but they did not use them. They took Vex by force. He struggled. He screamed. He demanded to know who they were. He said that the Zix Collective would destroy them. He said that they had no right to take him. The soldiers said nothing. They put restraints on him. They carried him to their ship. They strapped him into a chair where he could not move. The ship left the station and jumped into faster-than-light travel. They were heading to a neutral asteroid station that floated in the empty space between stars. Commander Vex screamed and raged during the entire journey. He said that humans were breaking galactic law. He said that humans had no authority to arrest him. He said that the Zix would have revenge. The humans ignored his words. They were not interested in his anger. They were only interested in justice. The trial would be held on a neutral asteroid. 3 judges had been chosen. One was from the Arendal species, the ancient and wise ones. One was from the Karathi, a species known for being fair in business dealings. One was from the Sentient Collective, beings who pursued truth above all things. The courtroom was simple. There were chairs for the judges. There was a place where Vex would stand. There were places for David and his team. There was space for witnesses. The trial began with formal words. The judges explained the charges. Commander Vex had assaulted a child named Emma Hayes. The assault had caused serious injury. The Zix Collective had covered up the crime. The Galactic Council had refused to deliver justice. David presented the evidence. It was the same evidence he had shown the Council. Medical records, video footage, witness statements. It was all clear and undeniable. Lisa Murphy showed the pictures of Emma's injuries. She showed the medical proof that Emma had been hurt. She showed that the injuries came from Vex's actions. Colonel Frank Hayes testified about his daughter. He described her fear. He described her pain. He described how she had changed since that day. Then Emma came to give her testimony. She was still scared. She was still small. But she was brave. Emma told the judges what happened. She told them that she was just walking to ask her father for water. She told them that the alien officer had hit her. She told them about the pain. She told them about the fear. The judges listened very carefully. Even the judges who were not human seemed to understand something important. They seemed to understand that this was about something sacred. Commander Vex was given the chance to speak. He stood up and said the same things he had said before. He said that Emma was weak. He said that it was an accident. He said that humans had no right to judge him. I am a citizen of the Zix Collective, Vex said. I have done nothing wrong. The small human was simply too fragile to be near a being of my power. This is not a crime. This is simply nature. The judges looked at each other. They did not speak. But something had changed in their faces. The judges retired to a private room. They were gone for 6 hours. Everyone waited. David held Emma's hand. Frank stood beside his daughter. The tension in the courtroom was very heavy. Finally, the judges returned. The Arendal judge spoke first. Her voice was ancient and final. We have observed many civilizations across many centuries. We have seen great powers rise and fall. We have learned that justice is something that all thinking beings understand, no matter what species they are born into. She looked directly at Vex. We find that Commander Vex deliberately and without any real reason struck a child. The evidence is clear. We have seen the video. We have seen the medical records. We have heard the victim. There is no doubt about what happened. The second judge, from the Karathi, spoke next. Every civilization in the galaxy, no matter how different, understands that children must be protected. This is not just a human value. This is a universal value. Beings who harm children are breaking the most basic law of all thinking species. The third judge, from the sentient collective, presented the facts. The objective truth is this. Commander Vex used violence against a child who posed no threat to him. This is documented. This is proven. This is not open to debate or argument. The Arendal judge stood up. Her voice filled the courtroom. Commander Vex is found guilty of assault against a minor. He's found guilty of deliberately harming an innocent child. He is sentenced to exile from all Galactic Council territories. He will never be allowed to use galactic trade networks. He will never be allowed to use communication systems that connect to other worlds. He will never be allowed to hold any position of power. His assets are seized and given to Emma Hayes as restitution for her injuries. This verdict is final. This verdict cannot be changed. Commander Vex stood silent. He looked like he could not believe what was happening. He looked like he thought his power would protect him. But his power meant nothing here. Security officers took him away. He would spend the rest of his life in exile, unable to travel, unable to communicate, unable to have any position or power. He would be forgotten by the galaxy. He would disappear. David walked to where Emma sat. Emma looked up at him. She was still small. She was still young. But something had changed in her eyes. "The judges said you were right," David told her. "They said what happened to you was wrong. They said that Commander Vex hurt you, and now he has to pay for it." Emma did not smile. She did not celebrate. But she nodded. She understood that justice had been done. As the humans left the asteroid station, Lisa stood beside David and looked out at the stars. "The Zix will not forgive us," she said quietly. "No," David said. "But they will respect us. And that matters more than forgiveness." The message from David Chun had gone to the galaxy. Humans had backed up that message with action. Humans had found an alien officer in hiding. Humans had brought him to justice. Humans had forced the galaxy to listen. News spread quickly. Every species in the galaxy heard about the trial. Every species understood that humans were different from what they had thought. Humans were not weak. Humans were not powerless. Humans were beings who would cross the entire galaxy to protect their children. Emma Hayes would grow up. She would become a doctor. She would help people from many different species. But she would always remember the day when her entire species decided that her pain mattered. She would always remember that humans were willing to fight for justice. The Galactic Council met and discussed what had happened. Many of them felt ashamed. Many of them realized they had made a mistake. The galaxy had changed because one species had decided that children were sacred. The galaxy had changed because humans had shown that they would never give up, never stop, and never accept injustice against their young. From that day forward, the Zix were more careful. Other species were more careful. Everyone in the galaxy understood that the Deathworlders from Earth would travel any distance, would face any enemy, and would do whatever was necessary to protect their children. Justice had been served. The Deathworlders had spoken. And the galaxy would never be the same.